When I was first diagnosed with cancer, I had feelings of awe, had feelings of just stunned, and I guess I was at a point where it was somewhat surreal, and it didn't even sink in, even when the diagnosis was made. It was like, okay, I wonder what that means. And it didn't affect me initially um, when I first heard it. Um, and I guess because I was not expecting it, and I didn't know what to expect from this diagnosis of cancer. Even though I'd heard a lot of negative things, I've also seen a lot of positive things as well. So my life has changed. Well, it started changing earlier when I had a heart attack. And then after I got cancer, there's something about recognizing that you do have mortality. There's something about the fact that you're not going to be here always. And I realized that within myself, that I'm not going to be here always, that I'm not invincible, and that even an individual like me who's supposedly healthy can obtain cancer. And so I've turned around and realized that I'm not going to be here forever. And there's some things that I need to do in order to be more focused and to do the things that I need outside of myself in order to make a better life for the people around me. So it's given me a different outlook on what life is really all about. I attribute my survivorship to the fact that when I was initially diagnosed as a male, I didn't want to believe that it could be one thing or the other. And it was my wife who encouraged me to get a colonoscopy, to follow through, because they were checking every other area. And she said, maybe you need to check your colon, get a colonoscopy. And to men out there who say, not me, duh, why not you? There's no reason. I've had about 12 colonoscopies over the past 5 years. No big deal. It's just a part of checking out the body and staying alive. And it was my wife's support that helped me to get into this process, to have it checked out, and then the diagnosis was made. And had she not been there for that, and had I not listened, chances are I would not have caught it early enough. And that's really key, is catching it early enough and being willing to follow through with the process when it does come a part of your normal life. One of the other things that I want to say too is when men go through radiation, we have a tendency of wanting to say that we can handle the pain. And a lot of times we can't handle the pain. And I try to hold myself and say that I'm doing okay and the pain is not really that bad. But the radiation at some point was really beginning to wear on my body. Sometimes we have to recognize that there is pain. And if it was not, once again, for my wife, going and talking to the physician and saying, he's going through a lot of pain. Can you do something about the radiation? Can you do something about the pain? And thank God she did, because they put me on fentanyl and I felt so much better. And it's something I really should have done, but it's something about being a man and trying to hold on and I can handle this pain when people around us are suffering because they're hearing the pain and it's unfair to them. And so I just say, men, don't try to be strong. Be human. I find my strength from an inner faith. I've been a man of faith for years, and I know that having faith is one thing, but acting on that faith is another thing. I've also had very strong family support, and without family support, it's really hard to make it from day to day, but knowing that family is there for you makes all the difference in the world. And one other thing that I really had was I was part of a 12-step support group prior to this, and that 12-step support group was very instrumental in being there for me. And so I would say being part of any support group where there's other people who are there to support you, to encourage you on, and not getting so much into yourself as to why me. And I don't think I ever asked that question, why me? It's almost like, why not me? And so drawing on the strength of my faith, my church, everyone has been so supportive in this whole process, in this recovery, that I don't complain. I know that God has already given me everything that I need. I just need to act on what He's given me. And that's a strong faith that I can survive anything. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. I truly believe that I should be paying it forward. I should be giving back to society, to community. And one of the things I've at my church, when someone says that they have cancer, I go up and I pray with them. I have established a support group of men at my church that whenever we find someone that's been diagnosed with colon cancer, we all call them, and then we pray with them, and then we walk them through it. We try to be there for them. And so we found that to be a great help, not only for the individual, but also for the spouse. And my wife sometimes talks with other spouses. And so it's a process that, if you've been there, you survived it, and you know what you've done in order to make it through it, because it's not easy. I would never say it's easy going through the process. But if you've got someone to share with you, and that also happened to me. An individual came up and shared with me that he had colon cancer and that he had survived it. And now that I'm 5+ years cancer-free, I give that same hope to someone else that you can survive it. It's not a life-ending diagnosis, that there is life after cancer. If you're recently diagnosed with cancer, it's not the end of the world. It's not a death sentence. It's a diagnosis. And to realize that cancer doesn't have you. You have cancer. And you can make all the positive decisions about doing what you need to do to move forward. Keep a positive mind and get through this whole thing. Keep busy. Keep your mind active. I can't overemphasize the fact of keeping an active mind, keeping a positive attitude with that, and allowing yourself to stay busy. Life doesn't have to completely change, because it's not a death sentence. It's just a warning. Through the process of my cancer, even through the treatments and the radiation, I don't think I missed but maybe one day of work in 5 months. It was important to stay busy. It was important to continue to function. Even though there were times I was weak, and the chemo and radiation is going to do that. That's just a fact of the process. But to keep my mind busy and to stay busy, to do my job, that was really key for me, is to keep that busyness and keeping the mind and body active. Otherwise, there's a tendency to give up, and I would never encourage giving up.